Today, more history and maybe some of the questions that you'd like to answer. So, it's about the Vikings. Why are they called the Vikings? Where did they come from? And why did they reign? Let me open with a prayer of the time. O Lord, protect us from the fury of the Northmen. That's pretty heavy stuff, especially when you consider it's written 20 years after the raid on Lindisfarne. We all hear the term Viking, but what does it actually mean? Well, it means river pirate, and that was due to the fact of the longship. It's been described to me as a cruise missile of its time. All it needed was 3 feet of water, I think that's a metre, to sail in. So it could come off the sea, into the estuaries, do what it's got to do, and get out again. So, okay, that's great, but why did they attack us? What on earth was it? Well, a number of factors. Imagine you are the youngest son of 5 sons in Norway, or Scandinavia in general. When the father died, the eldest son got everything. We're in there and you can get a look in. Okay, you say, so you've got to set up, let's find some land. There isn't any land, but there are rich monasteries across the way there, where people have got lots and lots of treasures. And there's these funny folk in with a head shaved and horse blankets. So they set off and they raid and they attack. And it's easy prey. And they keep attacking. Now the thing is, you'd think the monks would not want to be there. But there was a long waiting list to go to these very monasteries where they were attacked. Because the greatest thing at that time was to be a Christian martyr. And the monks that were killed, there was only 3 incidentally, they were seen as martyrs, and that was the greatest thing a Christian could be. And people were generous, they kept giving gold, so the Vikings naturally took it. They also made excellent slaves because they were used to doing what they were told. So we have the naming and why they attacked. But picture, if you will, a land where for several months of the year it's just total darkness. Other parts of the year is all daylight. But they came to these islands and the seasons were reasonably calm. You got 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of dark. The land was rich. They saw how rich and prosperous the Saxons were. So they stayed. They overwintered around where we're from. Repton, great heathen army landed there and wintered at the church at Repton. Great dig, by the way, by Martin Bivy. So they started to settle. They hadn't no conscience about attacking Christian sites because they weren't Christian. They believed in Odin, Thor, the rest of the gods and goddesses. But once they settled, they took a fancy to the local women, some of whom were Christian. And bit by bit, when they had children, their children became Christian. And eventually their grandchildren were brought up as Christians, and they thought, well, Grandad did some weird stuff. But it passes into folklore. So we see that. But the Vikings had another trick. Now there's a saying, never pay a bully, because they'll only come back. And this is exactly what the Vikings did. They'd pull up, armed host, to an area and say, well, look, we can fight you. You may even win. Well, I doubt it. Tell you what, you pay us and we'll leave you in peace. Sure enough. And it came to such a pitch that by today's standard, the Danegeld, as it was called, was worth £6 billion. Just take that figure in about £6 billion of silver. There are more English coins found in Norway, Denmark and Finland than there are in the whole of Britain. So it bears thinking about. It's a very profitable venture. But of course, the more money you gave them, the better the ships, the bigger the ships, the more men they bought. And eventually, as I said, they settled. The most famous of all, of course, is Jorvik, which is in now modern-day York. An excellent place to visit. Or our own town, for instance, Derby, which is a Viking name, meaning farm of the deer. In fact, any place named with a BY at the end is most likely Viking. So Grimsby, Derby, various other places. I hope this has been a little insight into Viking history, and we look forward to hearing your comments. So, till we meet again. Bye, Hill.